Christmas Eve has a way of revealing who we truly are. It shows us in moments of hurry, in moments of loneliness, and in moments where one small choice can change someone else's life forever. This is a story about a night filled with snow, silence, and a single decision that turned waiting into kindness. Because sometimes, the most powerful gifts aren't wrapped in paper. Sometimes, they're wrapped in patience. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional stories that restore your faith in humanity, please subscribe to your channel name, like this video, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world that kindness still exists. Emma Whitaker sat alone at a small cafe table near the window, watching snow drift softly onto the street outside. The Christmas lights reflected in the glass, twinkling like tiny stars, but she barely noticed them. In front of her sat a glass of red wine she hadn't touched in 10 minutes. She wasn't used to waiting. Emma was the CEO of a fast-growing tech company in Chicago. Her days were planned down to the minute. Meetings started on time. People showed up early when she walked into a room. Waiting was something other people did for her. But tonight was different. This wasn't a board meeting or a business dinner. This was a blind date. On Christmas Eve, of all nights, her assistant had set it up weeks ago, insisting Emma needed a life outside spreadsheets and conference calls. Just one dinner, she had said. No pressure. The man's name was Daniel. Daniel, according to the brief description, was a single dad, a widower, worked construction when work was available, lived on the South Side. Emma remembered raising an eyebrow when she first read that part. It wasn't judgment exactly. It was surprise. Their worlds didn't usually overlap. The date was set for 6:30 p.m. It was now 6:55. Emma glanced at her watch again, her jaw tightening just slightly. Her first instinct was irritation. In her world, being late meant being careless, being unprofessional, being disrespectful. She reached for her phone, ready to text her assistant an excuse and leave. That's when she saw them through the glass. A man stepped inside the cafe, shaking snow from his worn jacket. He looked around, clearly nervous. His hair was neatly combed, but his coat was thin for the weather. And holding his hand was a little girl, maybe 5 years old, bundled in a red coat that looked a size too big. The man crouched down to speak to her, his voice calm, his face apologetic. The little girl nodded seriously, like she understood something very important. Emma felt something in her chest soften. The man approached the counter, speaking quietly to the barista. He glanced toward Emma's table, then away again, uncertainty written all over his face. Finally, he walked over. "Emma," he asked gently. She stood. "Yes." "You must be Daniel. I'm so sorry I'm late," he said immediately. "I know it's not a good first impression. My sitter canceled last minute, and I didn't want to cancel on you. This is my daughter, Lily." Lily peeked out from behind his leg and gave a shy smile. Emma looked at the clock again, then back at them. In that moment, she had a choice. She could do what she'd always done, protect her time, keep her walls up, walk away. Instead, she smiled. "It's Christmas Eve," she said softly. "Please, sit down." Daniel looked genuinely surprised. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure," Emma replied. "And Lily is welcome too." Relief washed over his face so clearly it almost hurt to see. They sat. Lily climbed into the chair beside her father, swinging her feet. Daniel ordered hot chocolate for her instead of dessert, apologizing again for the inconvenience. "You don't have to keep apologizing," Emma said. "Life happens." Daniel laughed quietly. "Life happens a lot when you're a single dad." As the minutes passed, the tension eased. Daniel told Emma about Lily's favorite bedtime stories, about losing his wife 3 years earlier to a sudden illness, about how Christmas Eve was still the hardest night of the year. Emma listened, really listened. She found herself forgetting about titles and resumes and net worth. Daniel didn't talk about his struggles to impress her or gain sympathy. He spoke because this was his life. Lily, meanwhile, colored on a napkin with crayons the barista brought over. She proudly showed Emma her drawing of a house with a big heart on top. "That's our home," Lily said. "Daddy says it's small, but I think it's perfect." Emma felt her throat tighten. She thought of her own apartment, large, quiet, decorated by a designer, beautiful, empty. When the check came, Daniel reached for it instinctively, then hesitated. Emma noticed the moment of calculation in his eyes, the silent math of a tight budget. She gently placed her hand over the bill. "Please, let me. I can't let you do that," he said quickly. "I invited you, and I waited," she replied with a small smile. "Let this be my thank you." Daniel hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you, truly." Outside, the snow had thickened. Daniel apologized again for bringing Lily and for the awkwardness of the evening. "This wasn't awkward," Emma said. "It was real." They stood there for a moment, neither quite ready to leave. "Would you like to do this again?" Daniel asked carefully. "Maybe with more notice and a better plan." Emma looked down at Lily, then back at Daniel. "I'd like that very much." They exchanged numbers. Daniel and Lily walked off into the snow, hand in hand. Emma stayed where she was for a moment, watching them disappear into the glow of Christmas lights. That night, Emma didn't go home right away. She drove through the city, thinking about patience, about how close she had been to leaving, about how kindness had changed the entire evening. Over the next few weeks, Emma and Daniel saw each other again. Simple dates, walks in the park, coffee instead of wine. Lily was often there, and Emma found she didn't mind at all. She learned that Daniel worked harder than anyone she knew, that he skipped meals so Lily wouldn't have to, that he never complained. One afternoon, Emma surprised herself by doing something she'd never done before. She used her influence to help Daniel find steady work with a company she partnered with, not as charity, but as opportunity. Daniel was hesitant at first, proud, but Emma made it clear it wasn't pity. It was belief. Months later, on another snowy evening, Emma watched Daniel and Lily decorate a Christmas tree in her living room. The space no longer felt empty. It felt full of laughter, full of warmth, full of the quiet understanding that kindness given freely has a way of coming back multiplied. Emma often thought about that first night, about the clock, about the waiting. If she had left, none of this would exist. And that's the lesson of this story. Kindness isn't always grand. Sometimes it's staying seated when you want to stand up and walk away. Sometimes it's choosing patience over pride. Sometimes it's seeing the human story behind a delay. Because you never know who's rushing through the snow, doing their best, hoping someone will wait. And sometimes waiting can change everything. So as you move through your own busy days, remember this: a small act of kindness, given at the right moment, can turn an ordinary night into a life-changing one. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still matters. And may we all choose to wait just a little longer for each other.